Welcome back. Let's pick up from where we left the exercise in the previous step. We wanted to create copies and we wanted to add it as a constructor argument. So name comma copies, and I'll set the default values of copies to 0. And what I'll also do is say self.copies is equal to copies. We want to have a method called increase copies, right? So what I'll do is I'll try and have it in here. So let's say learning Python dot increase copies, and we also want a method to decrease the copies. Learning Python dot decrease copies. So let's say I want to increase it by 25 and decrease it by 10. You'd see that there is no method called increase copies or decrease copies, and let's see how to get the IDE to do that. I'll place my cursor in here and you'd see that a small bulb comes up in here and it says add method increase copies to class B, class book. Let's do that, and you can see that the signature of the method is automatically created. It creates an empty method, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and put it right next to decrease copies, moving the line to next one and putting a cursor in here, and this comes up, and I'd say add method decrease copies. Now you'd see that the methods are created. The signature is by default created by the IDE, and now I can focus on the code in here. So increase copies, how much? I would want to be very clear with my names of the variables. I don't want to leave it at param. How much? And over here self dot copies plus is equal to how much, and over here it's self dot copies minus is equal to how much. Isn't that easy? Now I can go ahead and try and see what's the value inside them. I'll comment these lines of code, control slash or command slash, and let's print learning Python dot copies. What do you think will be the output? It's printing 15. So by default, what's the value of copies? It's 0, and we are increasing it by 25 and decreasing it by 10. So 0 plus 25 minus 10, which is 15, and that's what is printed in here. If you want to assign an initial number of copies, you can do that as well. So I can say comma 100. So learning Python, I'm creating initially 100 copies, and then 25 is increased and then 10 is decreased. So 100 plus 25 minus 10, 115. Let's see what would happen. 115. Isn't that cool? We have now created a book class with accepting a name and number of copies as the initial values to create the object, and we created behavior in it as well. We are now able to increase the number of copies and decrease the number of copies as well. I'll see you in the next step where we would be talking about a lot more object oriented stuff. Until then, bye bye.